the second, we would say. Remember, the first electoral commission had earlier been in, and that was earlier led by none other than Mr. Kosia, MS Kikira, who did lead the Electoral Commission in 1980 to 1985. That was after the overthrow of Idi Amin Dada. Other members of the Second Electoral Commission included Charles Owo, Margaret Sekaja, Philip Idro, Saida Bumba, who later on was appointed Energy Minister, and Aziz Kasuja, who later on also did come through as an electoral commission chairperson. Now remember, currently as it is, whereas a presidential candidate Yoweri Museveni and member of parliament, and also a presidential flag bearer of the National Resistance Movement is carrying on with his verification. We know well that there is a lot of challenge that is going on across the country regarding the use of biometric voter verification machines. And the Electoral Commission Chair has okayed the use of the physical voters register for all those who are going to get their polls. Right there, he is being able to get his verification so that he can be able to receive the different ballots. Remembering well that today we're dealing with three particular positions. He is getting his ballots right there, his ballot papers, where he will be able to choose a candidate of his choice. One, candidate for presidency. Number two, directly elected members of parliament. And number three, we will have the district women representatives. We'll also get to know, under the 1995 Constitution, how we got to have these special interest groups, like the district women members of parliament, also elderly persons living with disabilities. The army also did come through in that conversation, but their kind of election is a totally different one. Fast forward in 1997, after the promulgation of the 1995 Constitution, we did have Parliament enacting the Electoral Commissions Act, where we now started to see a revival of democratic governance in Uganda, providing for appointment of 7 members, and the first ever permanent Electoral Commission. Remember, the Electoral Commission that was led by Stephen Akaboy was an interim Electoral Commission that was meant to organize the 1996 elections. We had the first ever permanent Electoral Commission that was appointed after the promulgation of the 1995 Constitution, led or chaired by Haji Aziz Kasuja, who was also part of the interim Electoral Commission. He was deputized by Flora Nkurukenda, and the secretary was Andrew Mwonge, with many other commissioners, including Ted Wamusi, Robert Tariko, Nasanga Miro, Charles Owinyi, and Mary Maitum right there. Now, that's very interesting how we've been able to evolve. And ladies and gentlemen, what we are having currently right there is presidential candidate Yoweri Museveni, who is also the presidential flag bearer of the National Resistance Movement, casting his ballot. Like I clearly said, he is contesting the 5th time under multi-party dispensation after the return of multi-parties in 2005, and that was after a very heated conversation or referendum that was carried on. But also remembering that from the time that he took over in 1985, this will be him seeking for a 7th term. In that basin right there is where the secrecy comes, where the presidential candidate himself will get to tick the different candidates of his choice of the 3 ballot papers that he has been able to get given. Remembering well that he is voting for the president. Remember, he's contesting once again. He is also voting for the district woman member of parliament and also directly elected member of parliament. Candidate Yoweri Museveni has finished voting right there, and he is dropping. Remember, each and every one of those administrative units has its own ballot box. That is why you see, you drop it in the first ballot box, you move on to the next one and get to see. We do expect that immediately after, just like the case has been, we will be seeing President Yoweri Museveni or candidate Museveni coming in to make sure that he addresses the press. What you're seeing right there is after voting, your thumb is inked to be able to tell and detect that you have actually participated in the vote. One of the other things that is going to be done at the polling stations is that after verification on the polling register or the voters register, your name will be ticked. Now that our biometric voter verification machines are not performing out very, very well. So ladies and gentlemen, right there we are as Uganda goes in for the 5th election under multi-party dispensation, but quite a number of other elections that have happened. Let's first take you as we prepare for candidate Kiruhura Museveni to give us an update of what the voting process has been. Let's get to see the response that did come in earlier from the Electoral Commission chairman over the failure of biometric voter verification kits across different polling stations. This is what he said. We'll be giving you that update over the response that did come in from the Electoral Commission chair, that is Justice Simon Byabakama, over the failure of the biometric voter verification kits at a much later stage. And of course, right about now, we can officially confirm that now 2 presidential candidates have cast their ballot. Number one is the Alliance for National Transformation, who did cast his ballot in Ntungamo, and right about now we also have the NRM presidential candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who has finished casting his ballot in Wachura, and he will now be addressing the press in not too long from now to ensure that he can be able to speak about what he thinks the exercise has looked like in his own view, especially given the fact that he has been able to officially cast his ballot right there, having been able to look at the chronology or the analysis of how we got into this permanency of the Electoral Commission and how we have been able to, over the time, evolve when it does come to elections. We started up with a movement system, even in the 2000 referendum, which was organized under the Electoral Commission that was